The Department of Labor is looking to actually update the definition of an independent contractor for the first time since World War II.
Overdue.
Let's see what it says. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Newsroom. I am your host, Neil Winteregg, and joined as always by CEO of Matterhorn Business Development, Dr. Greg Winteregg, author. You can find out more about his book, Fun at Work, below. Because today on the Newsroom, we are talking about having fun at work. And that is because there's some change on the horizon.
Get out of here.
Hopefully, about what an independent contractor is. And so we want to talk about that because we've talked about this before with relation to California's AB5 rule, et cetera. And so the Labor Department is actually going to be issuing or trying to issue some changes. I believe they're trying to get this implemented, before the election, right around the election, so that we can keep everything as is.
But this is important. What is an independent contractor? I mean, I don't know that you've ever found a statistic of how many there are. There are millions of independent contractors.
There's a lot of, there's a lot of them. But what's notable about this, and so this is an article, or this is a statement that Eugene Scalia, who I believe is the in charge of the Department of Labor, this is him talking about why they want to do something to change the independent contractor. He says, part of what's notable about this proposed rule is simply that we're doing it. In more than 80 years since enactment of the Fair Labor Standards Act, the department has never adopted a rule defining the term for general industry. The Supreme Court last spoke of the issue nearly 60 years ago, right after the end of World War II.
Wow.
So since World War II to now, there's been very little in the way of what is an independent contractor, what isn't, and
leave it to California to
pave new ways,
blaze a new trail,
to the Stone Age.
Yes.
We're not here to slam California.
No, not at all.
But what is interesting about this is that they're trying to actually get a clearly defined term because of the gig economy, because of online platforms, and because of what's going on. They want to have an authority short of the Supreme Court with responsibility for how this law is applied coast to coast. We thought it past time to codify a simple, clear approach that can be applied consistently nationwide, because you actually have different judges in different states in different areas saying you are an independent contractor, and then the other one who says no, you're not. And so there's all sorts of cross ideas of what is and what isn't.
Different viewpoints.
Yeah. Now, there's interesting here is because they actually do state specifically that the gig or platform of independent contractors that are being tried to be made into employees is actually killing entrepreneurial spirit. Totally. And it says that's the view behind a law California passed last year, AB5, which requires companies to treat as employees a broad range of workers who previously would have been recognized as independent contractors. In response, some businesses stopped hiring Californians. Uber and Lyft announced they were suspending operations in the state before a court-ordered stay gave them a reprieve from the law while they pursue appeals. As originally enacted, AB5 was so unworkable that the state legislature felt compelled to riddle it with amendments establishing dozens of job-specific exemptions. So this is specifically saying that we aren't going the AB5 route, and that
as far as a national viewpoint or
exactly.
Yep.
It also says, in part, that's because we recognize there are powerful reasons why some workers prefer to be independent rather than accountable to a company as its employees. And it says, being in business for oneself draws on two of America's most deeply rooted traditions, freedom and entrepreneurialism. And that's what I really like about this is that if you want to be free and you want to be an entrepreneur, you will be allowed to be free and be an entrepreneur. And I think that that's the most important thing that can happen in any economy is to be free and to be entrepreneurial and decide where you want to go.
Now, can I make a comment?
Sure.
So, politicians are not entrepreneurs. Politicians actually don't really have the desire to be free.
Right.
Politicians have the desire to get on the state's or the government payroll, get all of the benefits. So the rules are being made, the laws are being made by people who have no entrepreneurial spirit whatsoever. And they probably look at folks like us as crazy people.
Well, we're the enemy in a sense.
Well, we are, because we are promoting freedom and we're against their way of doing it.
Yep.
We are promoting make more money. Don't worry about taxation. Just go out and go crazy. But it's really ridiculous that they now are trying to make us feel like them. When I graduated from dental school, I opened up my own practice and I risked everything I had, which was a 1974 Grand Prix and the pots and pans from my wedding. I risked everything I had because there was no way I was going to work for someone else. There was no way I was going to go into the service. I was going to be somebody's associate. I was going to go into residency and have more control. I was ready to go out and really go for it. And so we all, in our family and the people we know, do that. We want freedom. We want to have control over our destiny, and the laws are being made by people who don't.
Right.
And they're trying to make us like them for our own good. And that's what's most annoying.
Yeah. Now, here's the other annoying thing. I found an article written by the San Francisco Chronicle, and it was online, and now I'm behind a paywall and I can't read it. And I'm definitely not giving them any money. But basically, the San Francisco Chronicle, which is pro AB5, because the writers who write there are already employees and not independent contractors, or else they would have lost their job in January.
Right.
But they're pretty pro AB5, and so I can't read the article anymore and talk about the kind of stupidity of it because it's only one viewpoint. But when I pulled up the article this morning so we could talk about it, and I now can't see the article, I can still read the comments.
Okay.
Now I want to read you 2 quick comments that talk about what you just said.
Okay.
Okay. So this person on this article says unions, like anything, can become corrupted, but the U.S. is going backwards in terms of thriving citizens. More than ever, the country is working well just for a few. Gig jobs are all over the place, tech to yoga, massage, et cetera, et cetera. And when one's health insurance is tied to one's job, that is not a good thing. Does anybody plan for retirement who has one of these jobs, days off, vacation? Yes, there are certain ways, but being an independent contractor does work and for certain people, but it's a bad standard. It's going backwards. So this person is saying we all should have a job and security. You know,
Guaranteed everything.
Guaranteed. Show up to your job 9 to 5, and 25 years later, you get a gold watch and you get to retire and die.
Yep.
The very next person says, so here's the choice. The feds want to give you more liberty to determine when and how much you work and who you work for on any given day. The state's AB5 wants to make you an employee who must have a schedule, probably join a union, and have greatly reduced flexibility and choices. Don't know about you, but I always like to run my own life. Those are literally the 2 opposite opinions.
Diametrically opposed.
You graduated dental school and you decided to open your own business and employ, how many people did you employ?
At the peak, 10.
10. You employed 10 other people to come in and work for you, and you took all of the risk.
Yep.
Whereas some of the people you employed just wanted to come in and work for somebody and get their paycheck and some bonuses because you took care of your employees. And those are the 2 dichotomies that are there.
Yeah.
Now, what I have a problem with is somebody saying that I have to be the employee who works for this person. If there aren't any entrepreneurs going out and paving the way, there aren't jobs.
I am
Interesting.
here to tell you, though, the politicians are not looking at it that way, obviously, or AB5 would have never passed. If there was anybody who had any kind of an entrepreneurial viewpoint in California, everybody who voted for it does not think that way.
Correct.
Every single person. And trying to convince them that there is another viewpoint is
Well, the
futile.
problem is that they will not let the other person have their opinion or have their viewpoint.
Right.
I mean, our comment section on these AB5 videos is just full of people telling you that you have to vote for Uber and Lyft and the Proposition 22. You have to vote for everybody to become an employee because we're going to make more money that way. You're not going to make more money that way. You're being lied to.
Right.
So that's not how it works. If that becomes the case, California is going to move out.
Yeah.
Right? That's just the way that it is. People said, somebody left a comment last night, said, when is Uber and Lyft going to take care of their drivers or show the drivers that they care? They don't care.
That's the point.
That's the point.
That was the model.
That's the model. They don't care. You sign up to work with them as an independent contractor knowing that this is what's going to happen. And if you don't like that, then you get to go work at another place.
Exactly.
That is entrepreneurialism.
Yeah.
That is your ability to dictate your future. If you do not like that, I am sure the Postal Service has an open job for you somewhere. I am sure that you can go work at a government facility in California that does absolutely nothing, but make sure that you have benefits. If that's what you want to do, go do that. But understand that there are people who don't want to do that. And if you take away their right to do that,
That's not America.
that's not
America.
entrepreneurialism.
That's not entrepreneur.
And that's what I loved about what the Department of Labor is saying. The Department of Labor is saying you have a choice.
Yes.
And if you decide to go and work and get your benefits and work as a W-2 employee and have that structure, you get that structure. But if you also decide that you're like me, who could never do that, then you can decide to start your own business, which is what I did during the pandemic.
That's right.
I started another business because I could. But if you didn't want to, you don't have to. And so that's what I actually think the Department of Labor is saying is if you don't want to be an entrepreneur, you don't have to. And I think that that is a sane opinion and a sane viewpoint. Now, the other thing that the San Francisco Chronicle article said was that California would not be adopting a national definition of what an independent contractor is. They would fight it and they would hold AB5 superior. So if you are in California, I'm sorry to tell you, this is not going to be your savior.
Move.
Yes.
If you want to be an independent contractor, don't live in California. Just move.
And that's what I like about what the Department of Labor is saying. Now, I do believe, I don't have it all right here, but there is a way to get in touch with the Department of Labor and give them your approval of said bill or said act so that they know that people want to listen. So you should actually do that. Reach out to the Department of Labor, let them know that this is awesome. If you completely hate it, just go to California and you'll be totally fine. But again, we're not trying to make a political opinion here. We're just trying to state what allows an entrepreneur to thrive versus what allows somebody who doesn't want to be an entrepreneur to thrive.
Yeah.
And that's really what it comes down to. So don't blame me, okay? I'm just simply saying that there are two opinions. And if you're in this camp where you want to go and work and be secure, do that. I am totally fine with that.
God bless you.
I do not think you're stupid. I do not think that that opinion is stupid. I think that is very much needed. But if somebody wants to be an entrepreneur and work for themselves and work 90 hours a week, then let them do that.
God bless them.
So check out the Department of Labor's full description of all this. And if you have any comments, leave them below. And we hope to see you next time.